The Galactic Military Academy's lecture hall fell silent as Instructor Zalthor activated the containment field release. 2 juvenile Carex predators, each the size of a wolf with obsidian scales and rows of crystalline teeth, materialized in the center of the amphitheater. Their eyes glowed amber in the dim light, scanning the room with predatory intelligence. "Today's exercise," Zalthor announced, his forearms gesturing dramatically, "tests your threat assessment protocols. These cubs, Kex and Tivy, are trained to identify weakness. They will not harm you, but they will determine which among you possesses true combat readiness." Captain Rhea Voss sat in the 3rd row, surrounded by cadets from 17 different species. She'd been invited as a guest lecturer on human tactical doctrine, though she suspected the Academy instructors had ulterior motives. Humans were still the newcomers to the galactic stage, their presence regarded with equal parts fascination and suspicion. The cubs prowled the perimeter, and the lecture hall erupted in controlled panic. Avexian cadets' chromatophores flashed warning colors. A Horthian's exoskeleton rattled with barely suppressed aggression hormones. Even the stoic Kelmar representatives shifted uneasily in their seats. Standard doctrine, Rhea knew. Most species evolved as prey or hyper-specialized apex predators, with rigid behavioral patterns. The Carex cubs represented something primal to them, a threat that triggered millions of years of evolutionary programming. She remained perfectly still, observing. Kex, the larger of the 2 cubs, approached a cluster of Talarian cadets. Their feathers puffed defensively, and one released a chemical distress signal that made several nearby species recoil. The cubs circled them once, huffed with what might have been disappointment, and moved on. Tivy investigated a Vryn warrior caste student whose 4 eyes dilated with combat readiness. The student's muscles tensed, preparing for the violent display that would prove dominance in Vryn culture. The cub paused, tilted its head, then dismissed him entirely. "Fascinating," Zalthor narrated. "The cubs seek not aggression or fear, but the quality we call apex presence, the certainty of one who has survived by being the most dangerous thing in the room." Rhea's lips quirked. She'd heard this theory before, usually from species who'd never encountered humans in actual combat. They studied humanity like an anthropological curiosity, not understanding that Earth had forged its children in a crucible none of them could imagine. The cubs worked their way through the rows systematically. Each encounter followed the same pattern: approach, assessment, dismissal. The cadets grew more agitated with each rejection, their pride wounded by beings whose brain mass wouldn't fill a teacup. Then Kex's head swiveled toward Rhea's section. She didn't move, didn't need to. The cub's nostrils flared, processing 1,000 chemical signals, invisible to most species. Humans sweated when nervous, released pheromones when afraid, broadcast their emotional states through body language. But Rhea had spent 3 tours in the contested zones, places where showing weakness meant death. Her body language spoke a language these cubs understood fluently. Kex approached first, followed closely by Tivy. The nearby cadets shifted away, creating a buffer zone. Some species, Rhea noted with amusement, were openly recording this interaction. The cubs reached her row and paused. For a long moment, nothing happened. Instructor Zalthor leaned forward, his translator unit humming with anticipation. Then Kex did something unprecedented. Instead of circling or posturing, the cub simply sat, directly at Rhea's feet, its scaled haunches settling against her boots. Tivy followed suit on her other side, arranging itself with the casual precision of a creature who'd found exactly where it belonged. The lecture hall exploded with confused chatter. Zalthor's translator struggled to keep up with 17 languages worth of bewilderment. "Impossible," the instructor breathed. "The cubs don't submit." "That's not they shouldn't." Rhea reached down slowly and scratched Kex behind what might have been ears. The cub leaned into the touch, producing a sound like grinding granite that she suspected was purring. Tivy nuzzled her other hand, demanding equal attention. "Captain Voss." Zalthor descended from his platform, all 4 arms gesturing wildly. "What did you do? What command protocols did you engage? The cubs are responding to you as if you're their pack alpha." "I didn't do anything," Rhea replied honestly, her fingers tracing the intricate scale patterns. They made their choice. But you displayed no dominance behavior, no threat display. You simply sat there. Exactly. Rhea looked up at the instructor, then at the sea of confused faces surrounding her. You bred these cubs to recognize apex predators, right? To identify the most dangerous individuals in any environment? Zalthor nodded slowly. Then they did exactly what they were trained to do. She gestured to the other cadets. Everyone else in this room either postured or panicked. They screamed prey or competitor with every gesture. But I didn't need to prove anything. I've walked battlefields where things with twice as many teeth and 10 times the mass tried to kill me. These cubs? She smiled, not unkindly. They're adorable. Tivy made the grinding purr sound again, apparently agreeing with the assessment. Humans evolved on a death world, Rhea continued, addressing the lecture hall now. We didn't start at the top of our food chain, we climbed there over millions of years, competing with creatures specifically designed to hunt us. We learned to be persistence predators, pack tacticians, tool users, and when necessary, the most terrifying thing in any ecosystem we entered, not through strength or speed, but through sheer, bloody-minded refusal to quit. She stood, and both cubs rose with her, flanking her like honor guards. Your cubs recognize something you're still trying to understand about humanity. We don't need to prove we're dangerous. We already know we are. And that certainty, that bone-deep confidence born from 10,000 generations of survival, that's what apex presence really means. Instructor Zalthor stared at her. His translator unit completely silent for the first time since the exercise began. Kex and Tivy pressed against Rhea's legs, content and calm. Two juvenile predators who'd found something more dangerous than themselves and decided that proximity was preferable to competition. The lecture hall remained absolutely quiet. Dismissed, Zalthor finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. As the cadets filed out, casting glances back at the human with her strange guardians, Rhea couldn't help but smile. The galaxy was still learning what humanity meant. These cubs, at least, had figured it out faster than most. Sometimes the most dangerous predator was the one who didn't need to prove it.